Hey, 2 cents more. Love of country. There are many times when people get a leader, and most times when they elect a leader, they're very proud of that leader. They expect that one to take care of them, protect them, make life more easy, and implement things that are just good for society. But there are times when people come to a position of leadership, and it's not by the usual mode where it's the vote, because it can be just there can be a coup, one can take over, or one can interfere with the process of electing one. And so the proof of the pudding is always in the tasting. So let's say there's somebody who comes to a position of leadership, and then on day one would sever the main source of energy and supplant that with an idea of alternate energy, supposedly New Green Deal. Uh, this would logically and experientially translate immediately into a change into the economic dynamics. And that's easy to say because obviously everything will cost more from there on. And as I said, the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. Yes, everything's become more costly. Even batteries, most of which are made in China anyway. And if you ever had to buy batteries for an electric car, I heard one person it was 27,000 to replace some batteries in their Telsa. So that might be a cost you're looking at in a year and a half, 2 years. But for the affluent, that's not a big deal. Their driving might be a lot more quiet. But regular folks just have to put their key in the ignition, start, boom, 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 and they get that good road sound and exhaust sound that we've come to know and love. uh, as I said, some of these leaders are not in fact the people's choice, or maybe they become cajoled and end up with a lemon instead of what they expected. This dishonest path to leadership uh, will readily translate into an exemplary disposition to morality, because those are the building blocks that brought them to such positioning. And this is provided more and more blatantly by people who are so uh, to people who are so readily influenced, because they're suckered into the immoral propaganda of what they see and hear from a mainframe media, and that advertise immorality on every hand. And soon the people themselves start to display this immorality as if it's a natural thing to uh, be equivocal about their gender identity and stray from the heterosexual path that I believe was more ordained for mankind. When some dishonest people act more despicably, they know that it's reached a position that it's not readily accepted, so they might do it covertly or in the dark of night. Um, some things, acts of terrorism, which one was not proud of, will be done most covertly and in the dark of night. For instance, blowing up a pipeline. Yes, um, There are some terrorists that when they do acts of terrorism, they're the first to own it. I did that, I did that. But some people who pretend to be good and do these despicable acts, even they try to hide what they did. And it just goes to show they're not really proud of it. They know it was despicable. They know it was horrible. They know it wasn't right. But their evil nature, they can't control that. So then the proof of the pudding is in the tasting and what you see. Such people will have friends and colleagues of the same disposition and buddy up with associates with no goodwill or benefit to their own country. You know, despite supplying a certain land, not the homeland, a foreign land, with 150 billion in support, arms and supplies, such a leader will go to the extremes of trying to get the permission of their enemy to visit his buddy. And his buddy, knowing that he's going to, his enemy rather, knowing that he's going to make a fool of himself, does readily consent. Yeah, go ahead and visit. And again, the proof of the pudding is in the tasting, because the endearment to a foreign leader, a foreign country, while his own country, is uncared for. Look at the Ohio train wreck, for instance. And it's one thing to go there supposedly secretly. And then when you go to visit your buddy, and they're just such obvious endearment, then you go with lots of gifts, and it includes probably 700 tanks, 1,000 of armored vehicles, 1,000 different artillery systems, 2 million rounds of ammunition, 50, greater than 50 advanced rocket system, shipped air defense system, and guess what? And $500 million more. Just for boot coming today or tomorrow. In addition to HIMARS, howitzers, javelins, surveillance, radios, and of course, more sanctions. And soon to come, billions in direct government support to that land. Now, does this show love of country? Or love of the girlfriend? Oh man, this is so off the chain. If you just listen to that Bud Curlin speech of support for a buddy, it's what you see sometimes in let's say two people of the same sex who are so deeply entwined with each other. And when that used to be a secret operation, now they bring it out into the open. And it goes way beyond what natural, let's say, heterosexuals would display. It's so over and above. It's not something you like to look at for any time at all. Oh well, love of country. Let's hope the residents in Ohio might get some environmental protection. One never knows. When something hits a fan, some people do the cover up, but sometimes the cover up is just doesn't even cover the surface, because it's half-heartedly. It's just something for show. So it doesn't have long-term or meaningful reflections on the likely possibilities of genetic changes, for example, in the people exposed to toxins. Well, buddies take care of buddies, and that's how it is, while their own are sacrificed, disenfranchised, or just plain old disrespected. Maybe, and more than likely, it wasn't your choice.